Welcome to the Acrylic University Masterclass. We're so glad that you could join us. We're going to go live in about 10 minutes or so. In the meantime, you're going to get to take a look behind the scenes and see how Acrylic University started. We're also going to watch a short interview from an Acrylic University member. Enjoy!
We're going to say a prayer. He's about to launch the site, so.
June 6th, 2019, launch day of Acrylic University after 9 months.
9 months! It's true, it's crazy. Well, let's do it, man.
Alright.
This is good. The Lord He is over all of this. I was overcome with this, sense of, okay, God, thank you, huge thanks, huge relief. I was just crying, but there was also this sense of Lord, we really want this to be for you and for your glory. And so I think it's awesome that we can open it up and just start out again one more time with prayer right before we click go. So
Say that again, I wasn't recording.
We're live!
we're live. I'm sending an email to my brother. First thing he said, tell me when you're live.
In late 2019, we traveled to Oregon to visit Jed's nephew, but also to film Color 101. And so we spent a lot of time in Portland and the surrounding area filming Color 101, and we also met up with two artists, Diana Shine and Amy Erickson, two incredibly talented acrylic artists. Wow.
How long have you lived here?
20 years.
Really? In this house?
Yeah.
Whoa, really?
I know.
That's
I
awesome.
know that. I know.
That is so cool.
The Vasari Cadmium Orange. I only need this if I'm gonna do this.
Oh, okay.
Because nothing makes this color.
Oh, really?
Right.
Okay.
Or if I want a setting sun that is just a weirdly super strong setting sun color.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I'll use that or this.
Yeah.
Some of them I only use for certain things.
You didn't know that we were going to be coming with our camera.
I did not know.
Hi.
Hi, Diana.
Nice to meet you.
Nice
Peter.
to meet you. Peter, nice to meet you.
I'm Peter. Nice to meet you, Michael.
I love this. This is so
Thank you.
beautiful. Look at that.
That was my house on Camino.
Oh, man. That's beautiful.
Is this what you're working on right now?
Yeah. But I was saying I'm really messing around with texture. And so I did this painting, and then I painted it again
Okay.
with a spatula.
Oh, wow.
With a metal scraper.
Yeah.
And I think it's awesome.
Yeah, that is.
I love it.
Really.
And we actually have interviews from both of them that I don't think anyone has seen yet, that we haven't released. But one of the really cool things about that trip is I remember that our trip was coming to a close, we were leaving that day, and we didn't have enough content to finish the course.
So it's the last day of our trip. We're headed home, but on the way we're gonna stop and do some final filming that we need to get done.
We were driving home. Jed kind of took some back roads to see if maybe we could find a good location to finish the rest of our course. On total accident, we just rounded a corner, and in front of us is this huge, gorgeous mountain lake with Mount Rainier looming over it.
Oh my gosh. Dude.
And And we were like, this is it. This is such a blessing. And so we got out of the car right there and we filmed the rest of the course.
Hey friends, welcome to Color 101. I want to personally thank you for all of your great questions. You gave us a lot to think about when we were planning this course. Now we're going to be outside for some of this. We're going to be in the studio for some of it. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So stay tuned. This is Color 101.
We hope you enjoyed part 2 of the making of Acrylic University. We have one more part that we're so excited to show you next session, but in the meantime, we're going to take a look at an interview from an Acrylic University member.
Hi, I'm Daniel. I live in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. I work as an engineer, and for my creative outlet, I am pursuing painting. I've been an Acrylic University member for a little over a year now. Before Acrylic University, I was trying to teach myself to paint. I got interested in painting about 3 years ago. I kind of floundered quite a bit and I didn't really have any direction in which to take my painting. And so I kind of gave up for a little bit, about 6 months, but I still had the kind of desire to paint, but I just didn't really have any clue about how to go about learning to paint. So about 1 month into the COVID lockdown in 2020, I decided to take some online art classes to try and find that direction and guidance that I was looking for. And I took a class that was delivered through an online, local gallery that was delivered online by Jed Dorsey. And I learned about Acrylic University. I tried out the membership and I loved it, and I've kept up with it since, and I have not regretted it. So since I joined Acrylic University, I've found that direction and guidance that I was looking for. Acrylic University has given me like a foundation and a tool set for me to be able to approach painting in a way that I can apply what I've learned through the lessons, but also apply it to other painting subjects that I'm kind of interested in. And so now I have that kind of foundation. I'm a lot more confident in how I go about approaching a painting, and I feel like it's kind of set me up for more successes than it has failures and frustrations. Although I still feel that, now I have the tools to push myself through that and feel like I've accomplished something that I can be proud of. This is a portrait of my grandparents on my father's side. They are no longer alive, so I wanted to try and capture something as a gift to my parents to send to them. This was one of the first portraits that I attempted. I guess with the help of Acrylic University, I was able to get there, and I'm pretty happy with this one. I would say that for anyone looking to improve their painting, Acrylic University provides a great set of tools to help with your painting journey. And I would say if you're hesitant, take the plunge, you won't regret it.
We hope you enjoyed that little show before the show. Now, without further ado, we're going to get on to this session of the Radiant Acrylic Masterclass. Enjoy!
What is up, family? We are so happy to be together again, and I am thrilled that you are here with me. And I've got my awesome friend and partner in crime, Mr. Peter Stout, in the house. Peter!
Good morning, everyone. So glad to have you here with us for Masterclass Session 2. We are so excited to have you all. I hope you guys had an amazing Tuesday since we last met.
Yes, this is session 2, and it is going to be awesome. It's packed full of lots of stuff, and I'm going to get into that in a minute. It's all about freedom with color. And I think you're going to have a really good time with this. I think it's going to be crucial for you and helpful. And just judging from last time, this was a lot of people found this to be their favorite session. So hopefully it'll be awesome for you. Before we get into that, I want to just say hi, man. Peter, who's with us today?
Yeah, absolutely. We have it's so fast I can't even see. Like, I have to stop the chat on my end. We have Elgin from California. We have Teresa from West Virginia. We have Irene from Santa Clara. We have Jan from North Carolina. Stamwood,
Awesome.
Rochester, New York. Saskatoon, Canada. Friendship,
Awesome.
Wyoming, California, Arizona, Texas, Wisconsin, Virginia, New York, all over the world, all over the place.
So great. So great. We're so glad that you're here. And I'm going to jump into this really quick because, like I said, we've got stuff to cover today. We don't want to waste your time. We want you to get the most out of this. But I want to start with a question because we had session 1 the other day. Oh, I got to say this. Some people have texted or called or emailed and stuff. They're like, I can't chat in the YouTube thing. I can't chat. So hopefully you can figure that out. Like maybe if you have a phone, you're doing this on a phone or an iPad or something like that, you might want to download the YouTube app. It's probably the easiest way to actually be able to access the chat if you're on a mobile device of any kind. If you're on a computer, it's pretty straightforward. But otherwise, don't worry though, if you can't chat, you'll still be able to win the big prize. Like if we call your name, if you did homework, all that stuff, all you have to do is email us, and it's at support@acrylicuniversity.com. So, but here's the question I got for you today. We finished our homework. Lots of you posted your homework, so many awesome things, but I just got to wonder, like, what was it like? How was it? What did you learn? What do you want to share? One thing that you learned in the chat right now, just share one thing. Was it like, hey, first time I did a sunburst, I learned how to do a gradation. Did you learn something about color? Did you learn something about like negative painting, like the negative painting, the negative shape, all that kind of stuff? Just write out one thing that you can say, you know what, I learned this through this last homework. Because I just love to see that. Patience, yes. Did you learn patience?
Yes.
Don't give up. Perseverance. See, that's what I'm talking about.
One person says that I need more practice. Yeah, I love the perseverance.
Oh, yeah, totally. Like
negative painting loose, yeah.
Yeah, so great. Atmosphere, first time I did the atmosphere first. Yeah, okay, like I think the thing is like there's going to be a wide variety, just like we've said last time, there's a wide variety of people here, wide variety of experiences, like the homework. You're all going to have different homework experiences. Some of you will be like, I loved it. Some of you will be like, I hated it. Some of you are like, I painted it 3 times and I still don't like it. You know, some of you are like, well, the first time it didn't work, but I did it again. You know, whatever it is, we've all had these different experiences. And I want to just walk through this really quickly here because, you know, what are the stages of the creative process? There are 6 of them, but what are they? What are they? This is first stage. This is what? This is awesome. Okay, stage 2. Did you enter this one? This is tricky. This is tricky. Stage 3. This is, now I actually put in a word here. Terrible. This is terrible. It says bleep because I don't really want to say what the original quote said, but I am what? I am terrible. That's not where we want to end up. This might be okay. This is awesome. So stage 6 comes back to this is awesome if we can stick with it. But I want to ask this again. Did anybody get stuck somewhere along the way? Did anyone get stuck in a stage that you know, like you're like, I wish I wasn't stuck there, but I got stuck. Anybody get stuck in stage 1? That's a great place to get stuck.
Someone says awesome. Went through all the phases at 5, 3 to 4, 4 tricky. This is terrible. Yes, this is terrible. I'm still at tricky. Perspective. yes at stage 3. Every stage, I'm stuck on this might be okay, but I'm not finished. Bev says I pushed through it. That's awesome, Bev.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah,
Man,
all
look at
stages
that.
all over the place. Yeah.
All over the place. Again, all over the place, because our experiences are different. But this is the one stage that we've got to try to avoid ourselves, but also we can try to help each other avoid this. The 4th stage is the one. Hey, look, if your painting isn't working out, that doesn't mean that you are not a good person, right? Just because your painting is terrible doesn't mean you are terrible. I've had so many dang terrible paintings come out of my mind, body, hands, everything like that. That doesn't impact who we are. So we need to just like really work on that. But I got to say, I'm super, super proud of you. Super proud of you. We are all on our own journey. And the thing that I love when I was going into the Facebook group last night and seeing what you guys were posting and looking around, not only were there tons and tons and tons of amazing paintings from beginners to advanced all over the map, amazing paintings and artwork. But what impressed me the most was the attitude that you guys had. And I'm going to just share a few great attitude awards that I saw last night. Just a few. There was lots more than this, but I saw Mary say this: I'm loving this class. See, and I don't even show the painting because the painting to me is awesome, but I just want you to get highlighted in on the attitude here. I'm loving this class. Painting loose is really a challenge, so this is amazingly awful. And it isn't finished yet. I'll be repainting it sometime in the future when I have more than 1 hour. But see all the smiley faces. Jerry says, I tried, not so great, but we'll try to do better tomorrow. Perseverance. Hey, I tried my best. It didn't turn out like I wanted, but I'm going to keep trying. I love that. Here's Donna. So I was very disappointed in my class painting. I decided to do another based on a personal photo. Nope, no better. Well, the rays are better in the second, I guess. Oh, well, try again tomorrow. And that is so important, so important. And that's why I'm highlighting these. Alicia says, this right here is one of those, quote, starter paintings. Why can I see trees in everyone else's but mine? I thought I kept track of the trunks. I learned so much and may have given up on this one, but I have not given up on doing another better one. Maybe creating it from an Airbnb, alluding to the hope of winning the prize for today. And Barb, last one I'm going to share is, Barb says, hello to all. I'm loving this class because I get to see so many interpretations of the original picture. And isn't that cool? Like, isn't that cool how we all have a different, unique voice when we paint? We were challenged yesterday for sure, but everyone seems to agree that we learned a lot. I'm happy to be joining this group. Good luck tomorrow, everyone. You're doing great. And that's what I just want to say is you're doing awesome. Some of you may have felt so discouraged or something that you didn't post your painting. You felt, bad about it. And I just want to say that's okay. That's okay. Hey, keep moving forward. Keep putting one step in front of the other. And you're going to make progress on your own path, and you're going to come out looking awesome. So we're going to do one little trivia time. I just throwing this in there. So Peter, you're going to have to be on the ball with me here. It's a very simple trivia. It's just, but all we need is this. We need one person. The first person to type the correct answer in the chat will win a $50 gift card. So this is not our big prize for today. This is just one little thing I'm throwing in there right now. So are you guys ready? Are you ready?
Quick question, Jed. Do I know the answer?
Yeah, you do.
Okay. All right, cool. Just double checking.
I'll tell you the answer just in case you don't, but you'll know it.
Okay, sounds good.
This is not the question. This next slide is not the question, but it's leading into the question, okay? Theodore Roosevelt famously said, comparison is the thief of blank. Fill that in. It's a very simple answer. First one that we see wins a $50 gift card. Okay?
All right.
Peter,
I
you know that
think-
one, right?
Yeah. I think the first one is Deborah Coccoli said
Okay.
joy very first.
Comparison is the thief of joy. So
That is correct.
again, you got it?
Yep. I will go ahead and write her
Okay.
name and we will reach out to her.
Awesome. Thank you, Peter, for doing that.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
I'm going to run through real quickly what we're going to do today. We're going to do the teaching presentation, a demonstration. We're going to explain the homework. We're going to do another live Q&A that might actually happen kind of during the homework again, or during the demonstration. We'll try to answer questions while we're going. Prize giveaway, which is the $200 Airbnb gift card, which is going to be awesome. And then we're going to have another session at the very end for beginners. If you're just, coming in, and you want a little bit more time, a little bit more clarity on anything, we're going to spend a little bit of extra time at the end just to answer any questions you might have. So we are in the second session here, and I'm just going to say this is going to be awesome. We've got our third session on Friday. Make sure that you mark that on your calendar, show up for that. It's going to be super great. And then it doesn't stop there. Like I said before, we've got an awesome demo with me and Diana on Saturday. That's going to be really fun because what you're going to see is you're going to see two different versions of the same picture, same painting come to life before your eyes, and it'll be really fun. Then you're going to have a day on Sunday to just do whatever, chill, do homework, anything like that. Your last homework is going to be due on the Monday morning, and we're going to give away a prize there again. We're going to do Diana's going to do a demo that day on Tuesday, which is going to be great. And then Wednesday, we have our final celebration. We're going to wrap up this whole thing, and we're going to give away the final prizes. It's going to be a very fun time. You don't want to miss that. That happens in the afternoon or evening, wherever you are. Again, I want to remind you, if you are looking
All right, everybody. It looks like we had some sort of technical difficulty on Jed's end. Oh, I'm sorry. I think everything's okay. It looks fine on the stream. Something in our just keep going, Jed. I can't hear you exactly in Restream. I'm just gonna go ahead and refresh the page. Microphone test. Can anyone chat? Can you guys hear me? We have some sort of issue on. We have some sort of issue with Jed's mic currently. Maybe. Okay, so it looks like. Okay, awesome. You guys can hear me. That's good. That's a start. I think something just went wrong on Jed's end, and that red dot on screen is his little pointer, I think. That was really weird, guys. I was just listening to the stream and then everything cut out. Yeah, looks like same for you. Same for you guys. Still can't hear you yet. Linda Petty says, I learned so many things, but especially negative painting and better quality art supplies. Yeah, better quality art supplies matters a lot if you can afford it. But one of the nice things about acrylic paints is that you don't go through as much paint because you can fix your mistakes really easily. And if you have a dash or a stay wet palette, you can keep your paints wet for a long, long time. So they're really forgiving. You don't have to, in general, you can get away with purchasing less paint. Will he be painting in black and white today? He'll be painting on a gray canvas. A few artist grade primaries are a game changer. Absolutely, especially in yellow. Yeah, guys, something's going on with the sound on Jed's end. So sorry about that. But we'll just hang out together until he figures out what's going on. How much do you spend on better quality paint? I'm so intimidated by the cost. I don't think it's terribly expensive for like a nice decent sized tube of paint. If you're like looking bare minimum, you can't afford much, I suggest a yellow. I suggest an artist grade yellow. Would be super helpful. Yeah, I'll keep talking. It's not you guys, it's on our end, so sorry about that. Can you set up closed captioning? I don't think we can do that live exactly. Brushes. The brushes Jed uses are Princeton Catalyst brushes. They're excellent brushes. Do I paint? I do somewhat, off and on. I don't paint physically, but I've been interested in digital painting for a long time, so I have an iPad that I paint and draw on sometimes. All my yellows are so transparent. Yeah, yellows are really tricky, especially depending on the yellow you're using. Certain yellows are way more transparent than others. Which picture is he painting today? That is a fantastic question. We will have to find out. Does Jed put anything in his water to clean his brushes? No, he doesn't. He just uses straight up water. And sometimes paper towels to like pinch the paint off the end of the brush. How long do the Catalyst brushes last? If you're nice to them, like you treat them well, you don't let paint dry in them, you don't leave them in water for too long, you're not super rough with them, they can last a long time. I mean, quite a while. Can you repeat the brand of brushes he uses, please? Yes, they're Princeton Catalyst brushes. Princeton Catalyst flats, more specifically, are the ones that he uses most commonly. A beginner's digital and good programs to use would be sweet. I use an iPad. I bought like the 2018 model or something like that for like $200, and Procreate for like $15. And boom, you have a pretty professional art setup there. Let's see here. Second, the TriArt paint being excellent quality and a good price. What's the difference in using heavy body acrylics and regular in terms of why Jed is using that kind? To my knowledge, it's just that it covers heavy body paint covers better. Please define a long time. That's a good question. I couldn't tell you exactly. I don't know exactly how long Jed's brushes have lasted him, but they should last you a good bit of time if you're nice to them. Does he use granite gray for the background? Granite gray, I believe, would work just fine. He also sometimes granite gray looks like it would work fine. And then, or if you have black and white, you can do equal parts black and white, mix them up to form a gray. Jed, you could try leaving and coming back if that would help. And I can just hang out with chat for a little bit. Procreate is really fun. I even did a couple of the mini challenges using the program. That's what I want to do. The Procreate is such an intuitive and fun to use app. Like, it is incredible. And I got the screen protector that feels like paper or a canvas. So it feels like it doesn't feel like you're painting on a screen. Very cool. Very cool. Where can we all get that plein air easel? Check. That is a fantastic. You're back, Jed. You are
Back?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. That was weird. It wasn't my microphone. For some reason, it was Restream.
Yeah.
We apologize about that, guys. Thank you for sticking with us. I really apologize.
No
So
worries.
weird.
No
My
worries.
batteries, it was nothing to do with the batteries. The mic was on the whole time, but
Yeah.
technology.
Yeah,
Okay,
the
glitch
app
in
we're
the
using.
system. We're back, though. Thank you, Peter, for keeping it going. Okay, so focal point plus good lighting equals a strong design. That was day 1. We're going with day 2 today. Who is ready for freedom with color? If you are ready, put it in the chat right now, because I want to see you say, yes, I'm ready for freedom. Yes, I'm ready. Yes, I'm ready for your microphone to be working. Don't stop again, Jed, because we want this freedom with color, okay? I really apologize for that. Peter, we're going to have to go back in there and edit that little bit out, man.
I know,
That's
we
a bummer.
are. It's a bummer.
That's a bummer.
One thing I just
Okay.
want to add really quick about what we were talking about. Procreate is super easy to use. So if you're interested in that, go for it. Super intuitive, super easy. Anyway, I see lots of born
Okay, I
readies.
see. Yes, I'm ready. I'm born ready. Okay,
Lots
here's the
of
deal,
born readies.
guys.
Excellent.
Freedom in color moves people. I mean, when I do something kind of interesting with color or something like that, if people look at my paintings, they're always talking about light, they're always talking about color. And this is the thing, you get people to say things like, the contrast and colors in this are glorious. I love this one. How do you decide? Delicious color choices. Painting made me feel happy. And the reason is, like, which one of these stands out to you? Like, if you're just looking at these 3 and you go, well, which one stands out? What about this one? Which one stands out? And I can almost guarantee all of you, your eyes are drawn to the one on the right in both of those instances, because we love color. Colors are the smiles of nature. That's what James Henry Leigh Hunt said. I don't know who that is, but that's a great quote. Colors are the smiles of nature. The problem is we get stuck kind of painting boring paintings because we're afraid to paint something that we don't see. Like, if we don't see it right in front of our eyes, we have a hard time dealing with that. We can change the color. And a lot of it is because we don't feel the freedom. But we also can have the problem of, like, I'm really free with my colors, but they look ugly. Like, I'm really wild and extravagant with colors, but they don't harmonize and they look really awful together. And that's an old painting of mine. And I just say I'm sorry for that, because I'll show it again. I have to, but we're going to deal today with the poor use of colors, either dealing with really dull, muddy colors or really crazy colors, but they don't harmonize. And we're going to talk about how we can get past that to where you will walk away from today with a guaranteed method to instantly harmonize your paintings and find freedom with color. Who wants to do that? I do. And here's the question for you. If you're in that mindset where you're like, man, yeah, I want that, I need that, I want that, what holds you back right now from being free with color? Is it something like, I don't understand the way that colors work? I don't know how to, try different colors. Maybe it's you're feeling like you don't know how to mix the colors that you really want. What is it that holds you back from being free with your use of colors? Fear, safety, yeah, nothing, right? Some of you are like, nothing. I paint whatever color I want, and that's awesome. Hopefully you can come alongside other people if that's where you're at, and you can say, like, I'll just help other people, like, I already feel really good at this. But the thing is that sometimes it really is just fear of trying something new. And I love this quote from Georgia O'Keeffe. She says, I've been absolutely terrified every moment of my life. And I've never let it keep me from doing a single thing I wanted to do. So that's cool, right? Because we don't have to let fear slow us down either. The big idea for today is that values are greater than hue. And I'll explain these terms in a minute. But values are greater than hue. And if you grasp that, if you can really lay hold of that, you will have freedom. There are 3 attributes of color that we will talk about today. Our good friend Diana Shine has a 4th attribute that she will bring into it. But for our sake today, we're just going to talk about these 3 things, because these 3 things never change. Hue, saturation, and value. Hue is the name of the color. So if we go back to this slide right here and you look, you can see, okay, like this is green. It will always be green. This is yellow green. It will always be yellow green. Those names are related to that color there, and it's always the same. Red is red. That doesn't turn into blue, if it's next to yellow, anything like that. Like red is red, but that's hue. Hue is kind of like the name of the color. Saturation is the intensity of the color. How saturated is it? Like imagine mixing chocolate syrup into vanilla ice cream, right? Like the amount of chocolate you put into it determines how brown it becomes if you mixed it all together, right? So like this is a very highly saturated red, and this is basically a neutral gray. They've taken all the red out, and there's all the gradation in between. And then value is how light or dark a color is. Every color has a corresponding value. That's what we're talking about here. Every color has a corresponding value. So you look at this and you really just see, the more saturated colors on the outside, and as it gets towards the middle, this is a much more gray. But if we turn that whole thing into black and white, you can see every color has a corresponding value. And this is the color or the value range kind of finder that I like to use. There's a wide variety of this. If you look online or you go to a workshop, you could probably find 20 different types of value finders ranging. Some people put the darks as number 1 or 0, and it's all over the map. But the people that I've learned from, that I respect the most, that I've been in workshops with, and books that I've read, use this one. It's what I have found to be the simplest. 1 is white, 9 is black. Everything else falls in between, but if you kind of are in this range from a 1 to 3, you're in your lights. If you're in a 4, 5, or 6, you're in your midtones. And if you're in values 7, 8, or 9, you're in your darks. And again, that isn't super important. You could have a different way of looking at that, but what's important is that you understand the idea behind light values, midtone values, and dark values, because all colors relate. But what happens is when you have a very highly saturated color, like this yellow here and this orange here, it's much more difficult to tell what value is it, right? When we turn it into a black and white version, do you see how much easier it is to recognize the value, right? Like we can say, oh, this is close, but it's probably somewhere in between those. This is pretty close here, but it's maybe a little bit off. But over here, it's almost like I can't hardly tell what the values, how they relate. Like I have to just kind of know in my head, maybe from something that I looked at before, but it's difficult. And if it's dark, it's similarly difficult. It might be a little easier, and sometimes what you can do, the best way to tell values is to squint your eyes. And if you squint your eyes at this, you can kind of see, oh yeah, like those do kind of line up there. But it's still, again, it's much easier to see it in black and white. And here's the main principle. Change the hue, but keep the values accurate, and it will look believable. Change the hue, but keep the values accurate, and it will look believable. I'll show you what I mean right here. So here's a reference of some scene in Indianapolis that I painted in a back alley. I love alleys, but it's kind of a pretty nondescript day. It's sunny, but there's not a lot of color in this scene. And I wanted to add some color. So what did I do? I painted this out of that. And you can see that I have changed the values a little bit. Most prominently, I changed the values of these shadows. Like these are way more deeper and definitive shadows than in the reference. But other than that, what you'll see is they're pretty accurate. I added color to this building, and so it changed the value of it a little bit. But if you just look at this, the background tree, I changed the shape, but the value is about the same. The rooftop, pretty dark. You know, a lot of the other stuff, like if you look at the sky is very similar in value, right? But the color is completely different. And so that's how you can go and realize, okay, if I keep the value, this light value, I can change the color, I can change the hue, and it will still look believable, okay? So when you understand that values are more important than hue, you're halfway to finding freedom with color. Here's the thing. What is the second half? What's the second half? Well, the second half is this beautiful, simple little tool called the limited palette. Who's heard of a limited palette? Now, this is my painting, and it's got no color harmony. And that is an ugly painting. The colors are bright, they're bold, they're in your face, but they don't work together. And I'd just like you to just look at that for a second, and then I'm going to switch to a random limited palette mixture on another thing and just see how much more pleasing it is to look at. It still has a wide variety of color, but because all these colors are born out of just 3 primary colors, we've got quinacridone red, we've got cadmium yellow light, and we've got ultramarine blue, all the mixtures in between are related. Here's another example. Different primary colors. This is cadmium red and phthalo blue with cadmium yellow light. Same family, they work together even though it's different colors. That's why I stress to you guys, it doesn't really matter which primary colors you have. What's more important is just sticking with something, because what's going to happen is they will become related as you mix them together. So if you say you have yellow, a red, and a blue, what happens is when you mix, do you see these lines in between? They all get related. What happens is when you mix a blue and a yellow, it's more like a straight line in between here. It doesn't go out as far as a green that you would get out of a tube of paint. Like if you had all of these colors and you had different tubes of paint for every color, and you were trying to make them all work together, what ends up happening is they're not related. They're not like a family. They're like strangers. And so you have just this random assortment of colors that all are kind of from the outside. But if you use the 3, if you grab your blue and your yellow and your red and you mix them all together, do you see how they all are, it's like a family. The way I was thinking of it last night is, you know, The Sound of Music, the movie The Sound of Music. It's like the Von Trapp family singers. Like they all are different, but they all sing in harmony. And when they all sing together, it sounds beautiful because they're all related and they know what part they have in it. So here's a couple examples of what happens when you put those 2 things together. The idea that values are important. You can see that this lines up with this value here really well. This lines up with this value here really well. And the other colors are going to be the same. But the colors, the hue is very different. It's way more intense. This is way more saturated of a color than this is. And same thing here. Values line up pretty well. You know, it's light in the sky. It's dark over here. All those kind of things. But again, the colors are much more saturated. The values work together and everything else seems pretty believable. This is another one where you see values are pretty similar, but the colors are really different. And that's where freedom with color comes from. So what we're going to do today is we're going to do something a little bit different. We are going to paint our foundation in black and white. When I do my demo, I'm going to paint the foundation in black and white. Then we're going to add color on top of it. And you could kind of play it safe like this, where you just, you know, add a little bit of color. It doesn't matter. I don't care what you do really, but I kind of encourage you to take some risks today that you might not otherwise take. This is a class. This is a chance to experiment, to try something new. It is a day to take risks. Now, just before I get into it, I want to remind, if you came in late or something like that, you can always go to acrylicuniversity.com/dashboard. That is where everything is. You don't need to paint along with me when I'm painting right now, because sometimes it's just easier to just watch and then come back later to do your own painting. It's demonstration time. It is time. So hopefully we're doing okay, even though I had that microphone disaster. I'm going to just move this out of the way so that I can paint here. And let's get it down. Are we ready to go? Are we ready?
Are you still painting on gray, Jed?
I'm going to paint on gray, yes.
Okay, perfect.
Absolutely.
Just want to double check.
So, exactly.
Yeah, guys, the limited palette is incredible. And somebody mentioned that it saves you money in the long run, and it really does. You don't have to buy all these tubes of paint. You can just get the main colors that you want to work with those. You can mix any color you need pretty much, and then you don't have to spend so much money on paint. It's super cool. So
it is super cool. And the greatest thing for me, honestly, is that I really used to spend a lot of time and energy and like effort trying to wonder, like, is this going to come together? Like, is this color working? And it's in the back of my mind subconsciously. And a lot of times what would happen at the very end of a painting, I'd look around and I'd go like, oh my goodness, I kind of like have to cover that color. That purple is really wild over there, and that green doesn't really work. And I go through sometimes and have to edit. But when you have a limited palette like this, and you just go, well, I've got my yellow, my red, and my blue, and these are mixtures. Well, I don't even think about if they're going to work together. I know they're going to work together, and it gives me so much freedom in it. So we're going to get started here. I'm going to just quickly get my reference photo pulled up on my computer so that I can see what is going on. And
a lot of people really enjoy that explanation, Jed, of the limited palette. This lady says that was the best explanation I've ever had. That was so freeing. And I just want to answer a couple questions really quick. I can't find any gray canvas in Alaska. Any suggestions? Just mix up white and black, and then
yes,
do something like
good.
that. Yeah, and then
just
tone your canvas.
Good. Yeah, this is not a gray canvas. This is just she's saying she can't find gray paint. That's probably.
She says I can't find any gray canvas in Alaska. Any suggestions?
Oh, okay. Well, gray canvas. None of this is gray canvas. I just put gray paint over the top. So a lot of times you can find neutral gray. If you can't find neutral gray, that's okay. You can grab, like Peter was saying, you can just grab black and white, mix an even amount of each or something that will, be pretty close. It doesn't have to be perfect in any way. But what's kind of cool, just so you know, what's kind of cool about starting with a gray canvas like this is, how we had that line and we were showing, okay, here's white and here's black. We are starting right in the middle with this. This is neutral gray. It is not going to get any more central to our values than this is. So what that means is that if we want to go to a darker value, we just make it a little bit darker than this. And a little bit lighter is going to be moving towards the light values. And that's just kind of easy, helpful thing to understand, because we already have our grayscale on the painting right now. So what I'm going to do, I'll show you this picture kind of big. Peter, were you going to ask something or say something?
Yeah, just real quick. Somebody asked, can you provide us with a reference file of the slide that showed the color wheel and color in the gray tones? And yes, I think we could add that to the dashboard at the end, right?
Yeah. What was it again? The color wheel?
Color wheel that you had one grayscale and one color side by side.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, we can
Absolutely,
put that in
guys.
there. Yeah, I'll just add some of those slides into a document or something that you can see. But you can see, okay, like I was saying, we've got some neutral colors over here. Like this rooftop to me looks like it's basically the same value as this right now, right? So there's probably some stuff down here, like in the this is slightly darker, but we can use the value that we have. So I'm gonna just keep this up here right now so that you can see it big. Well, no, I won't. I'm gonna go to the normal, smaller version, and I'm gonna show you kind of like how I get my grays mixed up here. But I'm thinking about, well, I'm gonna just get a slightly darker version of the, it's gonna be a little bit darker than this, but it's not gonna be black necessarily, because I'm just gonna use this to draw in some of our design. So I'm looking at where that roof goes out, and it looks to me like it's just a little bit to the right of center. It kind of comes down to about here. Got this. I like this. This shed has got kind of a cool, this is almost underneath that, but I like it's got this sway to it. Comes up, and then that actually just goes off the page. This is going to come down like this a little bit here. And this is actually quite the angle. And then this comes over something like this. And so I just want to get some of this in place. And I think this is going to be pretty fun to work on as we go, because let's see, this is actually down maybe more like this. Maybe this is down there. This can probably come down a little further. We've got two, I don't know what these are, like a kind of like fence posts, but it's kind of like a gate or something. This is a little place we drive past when we're going to one of our favorite swimming holes. And I just love old barns and old farms. They're really fun. I think that that's partly, I could come up a little further with this. Okay, got shadow here, something here, got a little bit of, so now I have most of the shapes in, and I need to put these trees in back here. They're pretty dark, so I'm mixing them up to be pretty dark. And you can really kind of just think in three values if you want. You could go like dark, which could be totally black. You could go just with mid-tone and then with lights, or you can be a little bit more nuanced with it. Like you can make your darks a little bit of a range, you know, from, if you're using the value scale that I had, from a 6 or a 7, 8, or 9 value, that's totally fine. It's kind of up to you how nuanced you want to get with this. I'm going to be somewhere probably a little bit in the middle. Like I'll try to be pretty accurate with it, but I probably won't spend forever on getting every value perfect. And And I'll have to come back over some of this because I kind of painted over some of the areas that were already the value that they needed to be. So that's kind of a dark value there. We've got this, let's see, I'm going to try to move this over.
Just want to answer a question real quick.
Yeah.
A few people have asked how to hide the chat. Excuse me. And it depends on the platform you're on, but there should be a button. There should either be an X button or a button that looks like a chat that's a toggle that you can turn it on and off. And then there is sometimes it's in the settings widget as well. If you go to settings, there should be a button to turn off chat. So just it should be there. Just look around a little bit, and then can you help us locate the reference photo? The reference photo and all the colors you need and all that kind of stuff is going to be on the dashboard.
Yeah, thank you, Peter.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm coming in with a little bit of a nuanced gray. It's not the black, but it's not as it's darker than the total mid-tone color here too. And it's kind of cool. Like some of this is negative shape painting a little bit. I'll be able to come back over the top again with some more color that's like the light value there, because that is, I don't like the spacing on this. I probably should have moved this down a little bit. We'll see if I can adjust it now, but one nice thing about having a container of the gray paint is that if I want to get that exact gray, I can squeeze out a little bit of the gray right here. If you don't have it again, that's not a big deal. I'm just doing it because I'm trying to save as much time as possible, and it will help me find this exact value once again.
Someone asked, what if you don't draw it? Then give it a shot. Give it a shot. And it doesn't have to be like a crazy accurate drawing. He's just kind of getting the sense of the image down and kind of placing things on the canvas. It doesn't have to be like
and the reason
rendered drawing.
And the reason that I'm doing it is because what I want you to really grasp in this is how these values relate to the colors that you're going to put over top. Because if we can get the values down here pretty well, and then if we can match colors that are good, accurate, they're kind of in line with these values, then we'll be able to really see, does it work? Does it work to have different colors with, as long as the values are accurate? That's the goal of this, is really to see if it works, right? I mean, I'm telling you it works, but you're going to have to see for yourself. And I'm hoping that this exercise will make it kind of straightforward in how you can put on those colors in the end. Because being able to see the value when it's a highly saturated color can be a lot more difficult than if we're doing it like this. Like, we're establishing the values here, and then my hope is that it will help us by giving us kind of a template that we're laying on top of.
Joanne says, think about everything as shapes, not objects that you're familiar with. And that is an excellent, excellent tip.
Oh, that's great. It's, yeah, for the drawing.
Yeah, for
Just
the
think
drawing.
of it as shapes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, now I'm going to come in with some white. So I haven't actually used any of the lighter values yet. So I'm mixing in some white here. We're going to, this isn't pure white, but this is pretty light value here. Goes all the way up. And I'm going to continue filling this out because I want that to be that mid-tone. Okay. And the light.
Someone asks if that's a softer brush than what you normally paint with, or if that's your normal catalyst.
These are my normal brushes, yeah. Just normal. But hopefully this is kind of working. I feel like it's pretty accurate to what I'm going for here. And now I'll bring in some of this sky. And again, like I'm not really gonna work too much on getting everything, totally every brush stroke great, because we know we're gonna come back over this with some color. But if we can see the template for our painting here, mission accomplished. And those colors just kind of blend together over there, the values. This is a little mix. It's still lighter, but it's not the brightest highlight. We're going to have some of this come through here. And then a little bit on the grass down here too. And there's even a little bit that we can see, kind of like this building back here is up on stilts. And so it's kind of like, you can see through there, which I think is kind of cool. And then we've got a really bright strip of sunlight that comes right through here. And it actually kind of meets up with some of this. Got some highlights on the edges of things. And I mean, there's a few little details here and there, but I'm just looking at it to kind of see. I feel like we're getting pretty close here. Let's grab some more. Okay, now what I'll do is let's put this up right next to it. Now we can see how is it, you know, I mean, it makes it a lot easier to recognize, like there are a few darker areas up here. Probably need to get a light area over there on that pole as well. And that comes down and then it's in shadow. Yeah, there's a few drawing issues perhaps, but the general idea is there, and it kind of feels like a similar thing. I think one thing I can see too is the foreground area could be overall a little bit darker in here. This could be a little bit deeper. But I kind of feel okay with it, right? I don't know if you guys do, but I kind of feel like, oh, I do see another area that I should do a little bit more on. This over here, it's kind of out of view, but that's probably a little bit more like that value. So okay, let's call that good.
Yeah, it looks great, Jed.
Okay, thanks, man.
Looks really good, yeah.
Okay, we'll call that good for right now, and then we're going to put that thing back where it goes, and we're going to break out our colors now. So now we're moving into the world of imagination, right? We have a black and white reference photo, and we have a black and white ground now with all the values established, but we have freedom in this. We have freedom to try things, to experiment, and if we stick with the values that are there, my thesis and my idea is that it's going to work out and it's going to be okay and it will look good in the end. So if you have any questions, make sure to ask them.
Yeah,
Peter,
we have a couple.
Okay.
One, somebody asks what the gray you're using is.
The gray that I'm using that is pre-mixed is from Utrecht. It is neutral gray. You can also find a neutral gray in Liquitex. I don't have one in front of me, but the brand, of course, Liquitex, they make something that is a neutral gray. And I'm pretty sure Golden probably makes it too. Not everything makes it, but yes, most companies do. Now, I'm going to really quickly mute myself so that I can do a quick drawing on here. So, Peter, you can take it away for a second.
Really simplifies the process. Great demo. Yeah, it's the challenging part is definitely this next part, adding color, because it takes a lot of imagination. But if you stick with that limited palette and you try to do your best to stick to the values that you see in your grayscale painting, you should do pretty well. And it takes time to identify the values in a painting or a reference photo. Like, just practice. One good thing would be to just practice, like looking at your reference photo, and then like mix up a value that you think is close to what you're seeing, and maybe like put it down on your canvas, and then compare it with your photo and say, hey, how close to that is, how close to these values. And it's something similar to that on iPad. Like, I'll look at a photo and then I'll try and mix that color and I'll paint it right on top of the photo and see how close I got. And then over time, you get better at identifying like what values are what based off of the pictures you're looking at.
One of your greatest allies in this is if you have a phone like this, to take a picture. Now, it's not going to really make a difference on here. Let me put something else up there that will make a difference. Let's grab this painting that we did the other day, and I'll put it up, and let's see what happens if we take a photo right here. Boom, there's the photo. Now, if I open up that photo and I go to edit that photo, and let's see, work my way around here to saturation, and I click on saturation and I totally desaturate that. And I say done. It'll make it big enough that you can see, okay, now we just see the values, right? We're not looking at the colors, we're not distracted, and we can kind of like, this to me is a really helpful thing because I can say, does this design work with black and white? If it's a great design, if it works well as a design, it's going to work in black and white, not just in color. That's one of the best things. But this is a way that if you're trying to figure out, did I get my values right? You can take a picture of your painting while it's in progress. You can put some paint down. You can see, does this match up with what I'm trying to do? Your phone is a super helpful tool when you're trying to discover values. Okay, so one thing that we can do, if you wanted right now, you could do something like this. You could take a glaze and you could glaze over this whole thing. This is a thin fluid paint. I'm not going to do it because what I want to do instead is I want to actually work more on individual areas of the painting and try to find colors that we can work with. So let's just pick something, and I'm going to just, let's see. Like, I know what this is. I know it's an old barn. I know that this is old weathered wood. I know that there's moss on this roof. I know all this kind of stuff about this. So what I'm going to try to do right now is I'm going to try to just let go of what I know, and I'm going to grab some colors. Like, this is dark. This is purple. So I'm going to come in right now to some of the areas that have dark value, and I'm going to bring in some of my violet right here. I can come back and get a screenshot. Renee is my wife telling me what to do. She's so helpful to me, or asking me, prompting me to do good things. But I think I can come back in, and that's a really good suggestion. I would suggest it. I'm going to be able to come back into the video and take a little snapshot of it to see where it was at. But if you are painting along, it's a really good idea to take a photo of your painting when you get the values, that value portion done, and then you'll be able to look back at that and refer back. Now I'm adding a little bit of orange in here. I don't know why, just because, right? I mean, I'm just trying to look at the values that are here. I'm not thinking so much about the colors. I'm just thinking about the values. And I'm trying to be creative. I'm just thinking a little bit outside the box. Now I've got another dark color in here. It's this board that goes across.
Denise, is he painting in black and white first and then adding color on top? Yes, he is. He
Yep,
painted
that's
all that in
exactly
black
it.
and white, and then he's painting right on top. So,
Yeah, good question. If you're coming in late, Peter, do you want to put up there the dashboard as a reference for people who may be coming in late or something like that?
absolutely.
Flash it up there for a few seconds and then take it away. But you guys, that is the dashboard. Go there. It's got all the helpful information for you. It'll have the replay on there, everything that you could possibly need or want if you want to participate. But what we're doing is we're painting black and white first, then we're coming back over the top because this is all about freedom with color, and we're just learning how if we keep the values accurate, everything else will fall in line. And I'm trying out different colors. I'm just trying to be a little bit creative and do some different things that may not, you may not think orange on this side of the building. That might not have been the color that you would have chosen. So, but we'll see. Does orange work on that side of the building? How is it looking in the end?
Jed, we've had a few questions about this. Do you want to just speak to your kind of approach to warm versus cool?
So that is the fourth attribute of color. You can take down that dashboard link now. The warm and cool is not a good way to, it's not the best way to think about it. A better way to think about it is warmer and cooler. Now, it would be smart of me to look at this and say, okay, do I want this painting to have an overall warm temperature, or do I want it to have an overall cool temperature? I almost always say that I would want it to have a warm temperature. So what I'll do here, this will be kind of a fun thing. I'm going to say this right now. I'm going to make my shadow areas are more dominant, and I'm going to make them warm. Actually, I'm going to make them warm, and I'm going to make the lighter parts to have a little bit of a cooler tone, which is almost opposite of what I normally do. But we'll mess with it and we'll see. But really what we're looking at is how do these colors relate to each other? That's why I was saying yellow, hue never changes, saturation never changes, and value never changes. Like this will always be a dark. It doesn't matter if it's always going to be dark, because you can kind of measure it. How does it, there's a scale for it. Warm and cool, as far as art goes, you can measure it, but within a painting, it's all relative, because you could have a painting that is almost all oranges or yellows, and it's a very fiery sunset. And you could have a color that looks almost blue in that painting, but it's actually not blue. It just has more blue in it, and it looks relatively much cooler than the rest of the painting because the whole scene is so saturated with that warm color. And so really, if you put that same exact blue in a different painting, it might be the warmest color of the whole painting. If the whole other painting was all blues and greens, you might see that, oh my goodness, like that was not as blue as I thought it was. So it's very relative. Temperature is very relative when it's related in a painting. It's like, how does it compare to the colors that are next to it? So good question, and I will make a more distinct kind of approach here to put my shadows. My shadows are going to be warm, and I will make my lights be a little bit on the cooler side. So relatively, What I'm hoping still here is that my painting will overall have a warm feel to it. And we'll just see how it goes, because we're taking chances, taking risks, and kind of seeing how it goes, right? The whole way through this. I'm just thinking about the values. I'm mixing up. These are all warm colors. Like this is violet, but it's not blue. Like this would be relative to these other things. The more blue that I mix in, it's definitely going to get cooler. So when I put on this area up here, like where the light is coming and hitting, right in here, I'm going to mix in a little bit of blue. I'm going to have it be made. I'll see what color I actually mix, but it's going to be on the cooler side. But that's why down here I'm mixing in more oranges and stuff like that, because this is going to be warm shadows and cooler light. And we'll see how it goes. We'll see what it looks like. If you have any other questions, please ask them. This is your chance to ask questions while I'm going. I can talk and paint at the same time.
Yeah. A couple questions about Acrylic University. Yeah. I mean, Acrylic University is pretty much like this, but year round. And we'll be talking more about that on Friday. So, Skip Creek says, Peter, please ask Jed why he would use the glaze he mentioned. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, if you wanted to do a quick, like say you had painted it black and white like I had, and then you just wanted to get the whole thing to be a warm tone, you could use something like this, which is a warm, it's called quinacridone nickel azo gold. It's a very golden kind of, and I am using the word warm because relative to like the neutral, it's going to push it towards the oranges and the yellows. If you wanted it to be more in the blues, or this is a violet, this is going to make it darker also. Like these, that's the thing, is all these are going to actually affect a little bit of the values, because even though it's transparent, it's going to darken it, deepen it. But this would push it towards violet, and you would thin that down with some water, and it's already kind of a thin version of those colors, but you would probably need to thin it down to get it to be the right value by the time you kind of wipe it off, because it would be still really dark if you just put it on straight. Good questions, you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Somebody asks, how do you use so few brushes? My colors get muddied if I keep using the same brushes.
Well, I don't worry about it getting too muddy. Some of this, like you can see it, like when I'm putting these main colors in place right now, I think I've only used this big brush here, and I'm thinking about this area right here. So I don't know if that's a good answer. I'm trying to think. Like my colors are, I don't believe in mud. I don't believe in mud when you use a limited palette, because I think all these colors are going to work together. I believe that with all that I am. And so I'm not worried about it being quote unquote muddy. It is mixed. It is very, what I would say is these colors end up being quite mixed. They end up being pretty, like intermingled, and kind of, they do become a little bit more gray. They lose their saturation. So if and when I get to the place where I decide that I want to have a really saturated color, I will clean I will clean my brush. And for instance, like, you know how I was saying, this is like in the sunlight and this is in the sunlight. I need to decide, because I like this painting, I need to decide, I need to keep enough of it to be warm, so that the colors, like there is an overall temperature that is warm. So I need to kind of like think about this as it relates to that. I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to do this, because I might keep that a little bit on the warmer side. So it's, again, relative to each other is what we're talking about. But let me see if I can mix. That's too dark. Trying to keep it the same value. That's pretty close. And this is like you can see it's kind of a violet color. I'm going to mix in a little bit of green. One nice thing about using a color like a gray background is that it's always going to it's never going to really stand out in the end. It's always going to blend in and kind of be just kind of go away and be really neutral. So it's kind of cool because of that. Like it's easy to paint over, I find. Doesn't make a lot of noise in the end. So you can see I'm just grabbing like kind of violet colors here and putting them down, hoping that it's interesting. They're not super vibrant. Like they're pretty desaturated, but they are leaning towards violet a little bit, towards blue, a little bit towards pink, depending on where you're looking. Then we've got a few lighter areas down here, and I'm going to mix in even more white into that to come down here. And this is all trying to show that we can change colors, we can change the hue, and as long as we maintain the values, we will have a scene that works. It's believable.
Someone asks, your strokes are so soft and mine seem pretty hard and harsh. Is it are the bristles softer on your brushes? It could be the brush. My first guess would be that you might be using more paint than Jed is, because like if you see what he's doing right now, he's not loading his brush with a ton of paint. He's kind of and it kind of gives it a softer look to the brush stroke because it's not like totally filled in, if that makes sense. But do you have anything to add to that, Jed?
Yeah, and I do think that it could be partly the brush. Just these Catalyst brushes, one of the reasons I like them is that they do have a soft feel. Like it may or may not be affecting what you're doing. I don't know, but they do kind of have a soft bristle, and so that it could be part of it. I can't say that for sure, but you know, it could be. Now we're just working my way around this, right? And we're experimenting, we're doing colors a little bit differently, and I'm trying to keep the shadow areas warm. I'm going to grab some more of my violet here and even a little bit more red, and I'm going to come back into these trees back here, and we'll see if, I mean, this might not even look very different to you because it's so dark. So I might go ahead and add some more red. Let's see.
What size brush are you using?
This is
Jed?
a number 16. This is a really big old brush.
Hey, someone guessed that. They were right on the money.
Yeah.
Yep.
And, you know, are trees red? Well, why not, right? Why can't they be red? We'll see in the end what looks good, what makes sense, and what's crazy. We've got some more dark in here, and I might as well add a little bit of color to it since it didn't really have much color before. And then we've got that same dark over here. Okay. We still need to put in our lights. And like I said, I was going to keep them on the cooler side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some green. We'll see how this goes. Like, this is definitely experimental for me because I am a warm light kind of person. I want the lights to really stand out, and I usually make them highly, highly colorful, like yellows and oranges mixed in. So I'm just doing, there's a tiny bit of yellow that I put in, but I'm pushing this to see what happens. The nice thing is that when you paint, like we were talking the other day, anything that you do is just paint. And we can adjust and we can go back and we can make changes. So I also realized that we're getting a little bit close to the end of an hour and a half, and I want to honor your time. And so I'll be done here in just a minute, and we will kind of take a break to do the prize and to sorry, I'm getting caught up. We'll do the prize. What else? Talk a little bit, and then I'll come back in here and we'll answer questions for anybody who still has questions or wants to have something answered. I'm going to put some green up in the sky. Actually, you know, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to put some red up in the sky. So I'm just trying to think of things that are a little bit outside the box, a little bit different that we can do. And this might not be, you know, the kind of scene or the kind of painting that you want to paint, and that is totally fine. I'm trying to show you that you can have freedom with your colors, and you don't have to be locked into any kind of box. You can completely break the boundaries, and this is going to be a little bit darker than what was underneath it. I already know. I'm making it to be a little bit of a gradation as it goes this way. And this is a warmer color up there. And I mean, I have to say that this painting does look a little bit funky to me. Like, it's like the colors that are in here and stuff, they are a little bit weird because I'm kind of like looking and going like, well, shoot, like, you know, the overall color of the sky is, you know, warm, but then this is, so what I'm going to do, well, when we come back after the prize, what I'm actually going to do is I'm because I think that the values are fine in this. I think it's kind of okay. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to change, and I'm going to go with, I'm going to make the light warm. I'm going to come back with colors that I would maybe more typically use, and we'll see what happens with it. We'll see if it will look even better than this, and I'll still try to exaggerate, and I'll still try to do some stuff that might be a little bit outside the box, but I'm going to try to bring it back into the realm of a little bit more normal colors than this, and we'll see what we can do with that. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to come back in here, and I need to get this thing pulled up. Okay. So let's see. Can you see this? Before we go, your homework is going to be on the dashboard, but basically it is this. The homework is to choose a black and white reference photo. I've provided 3, this one plus 2 other ones, or you can use your own, to paint the scene on there. If you want to do what I did, where you paint it in black and white first to get those values down, that's awesome. Take a photo of it then paint over it and experiment with the colors. Just really try to pay attention to the values and do the whole painting. Then take a picture of that finished painting, convert it to black and white, and do a comparison and see, did I keep the values, right? That's where it's going to be so fun. Share your work in the Facebook group and submit your form by 8 a.m. on Friday. That's the dashboard. Go there. The next prize is going to be a $250 gift card. We're going to give that away Friday morning, and we're going to do our day 3 brush work, which is going to be super awesome. And Peter, do we want to do a little Q&A right now, or should we just like keep going? Because I feel like if people had questions, they probably could have asked it already.
Yeah, let's keep going, and then we'll answer a few at the end.
It is giveaway time then. And now I'm going to just, let's see if I can do this in a orderly way. I'm going to grab our
Yeah, I'm so glad you guys enjoyed this lesson. It's really cool. It's a little hard to do like in practice, but it's so helpful.
Okay, I need to
How do I post my paintings on Facebook? I'm technically challenged. Renee, can you help me? Email support@acrylicuniversity.com, and we'll help you out with that.
Yes, indeed.
Guys, remember, if you haven't already, be sure to hit the like button, give that stream a thumbs up, let YouTube know we're doing a good job. Today was very informative, even though I've been painting for a very long time. We are so glad. That is awesome.
Oh man, I don't know what's going on, Peter, but I cannot. I can't show my. This happened before one time. I can't remember what it was. I can't show my other browser. So here's the deal, guys. You got to just trust me on this. I am going to roll the dice on my other thing. I don't know how to get this to show right now, but we've got the numbers between 1 to 888. We had 888 people fill in their homework. So I'm going to press the button, and it's going to just start going through the numbers. And when Peter tells me to press stop, it's going to stop on a number. I see 275. Whoa, they go fast, man. 438. Oh, my goodness. It's just like
stop.
Boom. The number is 374. So Peter's got the spreadsheet over there.
374.
374. That
Edie
is the number.
Defoe. Edie Defoe, you are the winner of a $200 Airbnb gift card, and we will write your name down and reach out to you. And we will get that all taken care of. So congratulations, Edie.
Edie, write us at support@acrylicuniversity.com. Confirm that you are here with us, and we will get this to you, and you will be able to celebrate your success at an Airbnb of your choice somewhere. Okay, I already gave you that information. Again, the next session is going to be happening on Friday. It is going to be really great. I'm going to give you 3 amazing techniques that you can use. A lot of you will say the same thing over and over. How can I get to be more bold with my brushstrokes? How can I get to paint with more freedom, more expression? This is going to be the lesson for you. So make sure you come to that. Now, if anybody has any questions, this is your chance. I'm going to keep working on this, like I said, but this is your chance to ask any questions that we weren't able to address at that time. And thank you for being here. If you need to go, this is me. This is us just saying thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us. If you want to catch some of the replay later, of course, go to the dashboard. But adios. Thank you. We're going to stick around. If you want to stick with us, we're happy to have you also. But I wanted to make sure that I did say that formal. Thanks for joining us if you have to go.
All right. So, guys, I'm going to put the chat in slow mode. So you're only going to be able to type once every minute or so. So if you have questions, go ahead and type them. And that's just so that it'll give me an easier time getting to the questions. So.
Yes. That's important.
So it'll take me just a second here. Save. All right. Stream settings.
So if we look at this, I'm just putting this up here real briefly. So, we can kind of look at this. We can say, like, even though I might not like the colors that much, like right now and all that, it is still a fairly accurate rendition, right? Like the values are pretty much there. So now I'm going to come back and we're going to do this work to where I would say I will bring it into more of my realm of like the colors that I might use in a scene like this a little more typically. And you can see I'm just mixing up some more yellow orange kind of colors that are going to be a little bit warmer.
All right, so we got questions rolling in. So we'll start getting to them. So someone asks, are there other subjects besides direct sunlight that Jed has painted using the technique we learned yesterday?
Oh, like the other one. Well, yeah, I mean, I would say no, not really. They're always going to be kind of direct sunlight related, but the colors can be different. Like I have done it with a more of a muted palette. So like much different in that way. Something that would be more like the grays and muted colors, but I'm trying to think, not really anything that's not directly sun related.
Yeah. But there's still a lot of freedom with that. Like they're pretty much limitless type of scenes that you could paint with that.
Yeah.
Do we turn a homework into the dashboard? Yes, you do. After the class, we'll update it with a form and you'll turn it in there when you're done.
Yep.
Someone says, can I do the light areas in warm tones and the shadows in cool tones?
Totally.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's how light and shadow works. Is so if you have warm light, you'll have cool shadows and vice versa. Slow mode is just
I just do warm everywhere, man.
Yeah.
I break rules.
Okay. What are the brush sizes that you predominantly use?
Well, like right now, I'm just using this number 6. So I use a lot of brushes that are like, they're always flats, but they're in the range from you know, I would say my most common brush is like a number 6 or a number 10, because I don't have a number 8. This brand doesn't make a number 8. So, yeah, that's that.
What size is your Masterson palette? I bought a smaller one, but run out of room quickly, especially if the painting is larger.
Oh, this is a 12 by 16.
Yeah. And you'll definitely want to get the bigger one if you can. It's yeah.
Yeah, it does. It holds a lot more.
The colors are on screen and also on the dashboard. Let's see here. Okay, when we were picking the primary colors when we were picking the paints we were using, did you say we want the primary colors to be of the same value?
Primary colors will not really be of the same value, because your yellow is always going to be lighter than your blue and your red. But you can mix them to be darker. You know, of course, you can mix your yellows in with other things. But so I think that's what you're asking. If you're meaning something different, like, maybe you could clarify that, but that'd be what I'd say right now.
How do we get to the dashboard? It's just acrylicuniversity.com/dashboard. Let us see here. All right, we got that. Does Jed seal his paintings, and if so, what would he recommend using?
Yeah, so I definitely recommend varnishing your paintings, and trying to see if I have any with me here. There are a lot of different kinds of varnish that you can use. I tend to use a clear spray varnish. That's my most common thing that I use right now. You can get something like this. This is a Liquitex gloss medium and varnish. There are a wide variety. My go-to right now is, like I said, it's not this one, but this is a type that you can use. The one that I like the most right now is from Winsor Newton. Oh, here it is. My beautiful wife is bringing it in. It is this one right here. It's a gloss varnish from Winsor Newton. What I like is I don't have to worry about brush strokes and things like that.
Someone asks, are you painting on an easel?
This is a tabletop kind of setup that I have that's specifically set up to film, so it makes it easier, but not a traditional easel.
Soft or bristle brush?
These are soft. These are they would be considered synthetic brushes, and they are soft. Yeah.
Is this your go-to palette, or does it depend on your subject?
Sometimes it depends on my subject. In fact, we're gonna do another masterclass at some point coming with Diana, and we're gonna talk about color even more in depth. But one of the things that she does is she really looks at her subject that she's painting, and she decides out of her, she's a handful of paints that she uses, and she'll make her choice very consciously based on the scene. I'm a little bit more generic with it. Like, I use this color palette for, well, or something similar to this for about 90% of my paintings, and every once in a while I'll change something up, but it's much more on the rare side for me to
for sure
change too much.
Okay, do you always use a glossy varnish? Yeah, he does most of the time. And here's the thing, guys, you can experiment with varnish with satin varnish or other kinds of varnish or matte if you want to. You know, it's like we've said, it's your artwork, and feel free to experiment with things and try things out and see what you like, what you enjoy, because maybe you find that you like matte or satin better. Um,
Definitely personal preference. You know,
yeah.
like I've just found that I like the glossy varnish better, but I know other people who use different stuff. So totally personal.
I'm not sure how you would answer this, but I've heard her ask it twice. Angela, how do you describe or list the style and technique that uses unexpected colors?
Well, what I would say is this isn't, oh boy. I don't know. I don't know if there's a style that would, use it. Maybe I'm wondering if the word expressionism is a good word for it. I don't really know. But one thing that I would say is that if you are there's another term called color surprise, and it's not this. It's actually kind of the opposite of this. Like, because right now in this painting, I basically have covered everything. Like everything has a color, and it's kind of okay. But what's actually kind of nice in a painting is when you have some areas of a painting that are more neutral, and they don't really draw a lot of attention or attract a lot of attention, and that's like using neutral grays. And when you use neutral grays and then you come and you have other areas that are like a pop of color that you might not expect, it is called color surprise. And it's one of my favorite terms because I just love the idea of color surprise. But that's a little different than what you're referring to, but I am coming back in right now with a little bit more of a gray color in here. And I'm going to just bring a little bit of that gray into the painting, because part of it for me is it's soothing. Grays are soothing. And look, we didn't talk about it because we're talking more about being imaginative and using, bold colors and all that. And I think that that's super, super important. But I also think doing some subtle things and using grays is a really nice way to bring your paintings to a really peaceful and beautiful place.
A couple questions. A couple people have asked, can you paint over the varnish? Can you paint over the varnish?
Well, you can technically. Like what I do is if I have a painting that I thought was done and I accidentally varnished it, or I varnished it and then I realized like later I see something that I want to work on, what I'll do is I will put a full coat of like this over the top. Because this is a gloss medium and varnish, and I want whatever I put on top to have the best chance of, like really lasting and sticking. And so I know that stuff is acrylic medium, and it's got a really strong binder in it and everything like that. And so that's why I put that down first, so that then if I'm using the paint, normal straight up paint on top of it, it's going to hopefully just stick to that like brand new, like painting. If you don't do that kind of thing, what can happen is your paint can bead up, and it can feel like it's like water dripping off of a duck's back.
Yeah.
That's basically what can happen.
Let's see. Jed, can you? Okay, yeah, we answered that. Have you ever done any soft pastel work?
No, never have actually.
Oh, another thing, guys. Two things actually. One, okay, I'll answer this question real quick. Gordon, what type of canvas are you painting on? Do you usually paint on? He's painting on a canvas panel, and for almost all of his demonstrations, he paints on a canvas panel. And for some of his like more professional work, he works on a stretched canvas, but lots of just canvas panels.
And a lot of that has to do with the size of the canvas. Like, so
Yeah.
for a big painting, I'll do it on a stretch canvas because you can paint much larger. You don't necessarily have to frame it. There's a lot of different reasons for that. But yeah, these are just pretty general canvas panels. And they're great. I like them. The downfall is you do have to frame it if you want to show it, that kind of thing. But no biggie. Sometimes I'll paint on something like this, which is a gesso panel. It's very smooth, but it's got this very thick kind of frame and support. And they're kind of fun to paint on too.
Jamie Reinhardt Smith asks, how large will you go in canvas form or in panel form? Sorry.
Oh, I generally paint up to like 18 by 24 on a panel. Anything bigger than that, I start moving more towards the canvases that are stretched. Shout out to Jamie and the moderators.
Yeah, absolutely. I was like, I gotta get to that question. Somebody asked, can you show us a painting that you varnished?
Let me see. I'm looking around. I don't think I have one in here right now. Well, maybe besides that one. So, but I don't know if you can really see much with that.
Do you ever use palette knives? Asks Nancy. Jed doesn't often use palette knives, but Diana will do entire paintings with just her palette knife, and you might see more of that this week if she uses one. You'll also see in the Acrylic University courses, she uses palette knives all over the place. She's super skilled with one. But yeah, she's also done entire paintings with a spatula.
Okay, my wife just brought in this so I can show you a varnished painting. And I'm supposing that you kind of want to see like the shininess of it. So that's kind of what it looks like with the shininess. Okay, so I'm gonna do something here. I'm just to see, okay, like where are we at with these values? Are we still maintaining them? Are they still making sense? That kind of thing. And I think that they are pretty much. Like I'm just looking around to see if there's. I feel like these highlights can be a little bit brighter, and some of this in here a little bit brighter.
All right, guys. A couple things. Let's see. Thank you to everyone. This is Above and Beyond. You're so welcome. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Let's see here. So I have a link for you guys if you want to see what supplies Jed is using and get it for yourself. I'm going to drop a supply list in the chat, and that has a huge list of supplies that we recommend and stand by. Diana says the spatula color shaper on Saturday. So be sure to be here on Saturday for Diana's demo. And
Nice.
she'll be using a color shaper, everybody. So that'll be awesome.
Yeah, that will be fun. I make no promises. I will not be using
Yeah.
myself. But again, I've learned so much from Diana, and it's been so fun to work together. I really love being able to talk with her and interact, and it's super fun to, we both know lots of other artists too, but it's always fun to see how somebody else does something, because you may or may not end up doing it the same way. But you can learn so much from seeing somebody else's take on something and the way that they approach it. And I have learned so much from Diana, and it's been so fun. So yeah, make sure you show up for that thing on Saturday. That's going to be a blast. That's going to be really fun.
Yeah. How can we join Acrylic University classes? So we'll be opening enrollment starting Friday morning, and then we'll be sharing lots of cool information about that over the next over the duration or the remainder of the masterclass after Friday. So lots of good information about that. And Diana's really involved in what we do too. She has some awesome. Oh, okay, yeah, that's what it was. I saw a couple of you ask about like perspective and composition and design, and Diana has covered all of those subjects in some incredible in-depth courses. So she's she's incredible instructor and has covered design and composition, and yeah.
Almost, I'm not sure if there's a really big subject or something that we haven't covered with Acrylic University. So like it's fun to be able to offer a lot of cool stuff. That's for sure. Because I mean, the reality is like we all need the same foundation for basically no matter what you're saying you want to paint. We all need kind of the same idea, like the same foundation, the same stuff to work on. And but then there are times when you need like really specific information about a certain subject or something like that. And so, yeah, and you might be drawn in. Like Diana, one of the things that's so great about her is she does such a good job of teaching. When she's teaching, she is thorough. Mm-hmm. You can understand. She explains it in such great ways that you can really grab hold of. So here's my painting, guys. I think that I'm going to be done for right now because I don't, I mean, there might be a few little things here and there that I'll see, but for the most part, I like it. I think that it follows the pattern of the lights and darks that we had established. I don't see a ton that I'm, really gonna change besides what I'm doing right now. Which I always say something and then I find a bunch of stuff right away after. But I'm gonna be wrapping it up here and it'll be your turn. So, but this is, I mean, you kind of saw this painting take totally different shape. Like it totally changed, right? When it was like really different with the first go round, right? And then I kind of like came in and changed a lot. And I like right now I'm just kind of looking at some of this orangish color down here, and I'm just getting rid of a little bit because it's maybe a little bit distracting to me. But again, what I'm trying to do in any of these changes is I'm just looking to see value. Put down the same value. You can change the color, and we can go back and forth all day. you know, and you can kind of like see, do I like it better now than I did before? Well, maybe you do, maybe you don't, but come back in with a little bit different color, you know, just feel free to change that. And I'm going to do one more thing here just for a little bit of fun.
Kathy says, I've learned more in the short time since I joined AU than I did in college way back when, and you guys are genuinely fantastic people. Thank you, Kathy. We're so glad that you've enjoyed it. Betsy asks, Jed, do you typically start with mid values and then add light and darks on top?
I would say I can't say that I do. I typically, a lot of times, start with really dark values. Like if you come to a Friday Night Live show up there, you'll see that most of the time I paint on a black canvas there. And so that's totally opposite. But I do kind of appreciate gray as a background. And if I'm painting outside, if I'm at a plein air competition or something like that, like a lot of times you will see that I start on a gray canvas because it's so neutral and I find it to be so interesting. So here we go, guys. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think? I feel
think
like
it's great, Jed. You should, real quick, you should take a picture of it, turn it to black and white, and show your phone on screen.
Oh, good idea, dude. I like it.
Yeah, that
Okay.
can't take credit for that. That was somebody.
Yeah.
One of our members did.
Somebody else.
Yeah. Super good idea.
We shouldn't take credit for anything because basically, like any good idea that we've ever had has been from somebody else.
It kind of has.
It's like that's a mediocre idea. Oh, that was probably mine. Yeah, I'll take credit for the mediocre ideas, but
that's
the
not
good
true.
ones. Okay, so let's see. I will bring up that other one. And
all right, guys,
there you
we're
go.
gonna. All right, let's see. Wow, that's impressive. Holy cow! Look at that, guys.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty close. That is really cool.
Yeah, isn't that great? I mean, that's really cool to see for me. Just because, like, yeah, you're trying, and that's the whole point, right? I mean, just give it your best shot and see what happens. But yeah, I feel like it actually is pretty accurate.
Yeah.
So, but it's harder to see here, isn't it? Like, it's so much harder to see when it's all color. But
yeah.
Wow.
So,
dang. Okay. It is 12:58.
Yeah, thank you guys for sticking with us through the technical problems this morning. That was really fun.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. We love you. We believe in you. We are so proud of you. Go paint with courage and with all your heart, and don't worry about mistakes, because we know that we don't have mistakes. We have happy accidents. We know that creativity is allowing yourself to make mistakes. Art is knowing which ones to keep. So, you know, some of those mistakes will become like the best part of your painting if you just keep working. So we're so thankful for you. Peter, do you have any last words?
I don't think so. I just love being with you guys. It's so much fun. Thank you guys for being patient with us and really positive. So we'll see you on Friday. Yeah. Oh, real quick, we should probably just recap what the homework is. You want to recap that really quick, Jed?
Yeah, let me pull that up then here. That'll be easier. Go right here. So the homework is to choose a black and white reference. We have those on the dashboard. Just trying to see if we have the dashboard. You can go acrylicuniversity.com/dashboard. Paint the scene, experiment with colors. You can do a grayscale thing first, take a picture of it, do your full painting, take a picture of it, convert it to black and white, and then share your work and submit the form on the dashboard and be back here for the prize on Friday. That's what it is, guys.
Yep. All right, guys. Thank you so much. We will see you all on Friday.
Love you guys.